Good morning. It is a very good morning. We have been blessed of the Lord over these few days, actually over these few months. We have journeyed, and there have been mountains we've crossed and valleys we've crossed, and here we have seen the Lord's blessing upon us today. Amen. I'm going to report on the five propositions that receive unanimous consent. Give you just a very brief description of how we arrived at them, and then I'll be presenting them to Commissioner Francis and inviting him to tell you what his plans are from there. You've received this morning the propositions. The first being the Salvation Army uses appropriate attire as a tool to reach the world for Christ. Where the uniform is worn, it will be modern, affordable, and identifiable, and includes clear identification as the Salvation Army by word or symbol. This proposition reaffirms our commitment to the expression of salvationism through the uniform and identifying ourselves as such in the community. I know that there have been various voices out there with respect to that, but it was your guidance through the propositions and through the will you believe that the Lord was leading you through in the voting process, and then us through the council last evening to affirm that that is very much a part of the Salvation Army and its expression. The Salvation Army is intentional about discipling its soldiers and members. The Salvation Army provides resources and encourages mentoring. Through discipleship, Salvationist members can articulate their plan for spiritual growth and holiness. There's going to be really bad pictures in this. Intentional kept coming up over and over again when talked about discipleship. And in the typing in process, I heard things like, oh man, if I hear intentional one more time. It is a good word. The spirit that came out of those propositions, the spirit that was in the council meeting last night, is basically this: discipleship and spiritual growth seriously. Like the young people would say, seriously. No, seriously. We know we're supposed to, but you are saying seriously. You are saying to the leadership, lead us in renewal. Lead us in renewal. Discipleship and spiritual growth. The Salvation Army is creatively connected to children and youth culture to engage and empower them in godly living. We struggled a little bit with that, short, pithy. We thought, well, you know, we have a YP department and we already have activities. The intent in the proposition is to say, no, seriously. Seriously. Children and youth ministry in our corps and churches. There was a struggle because the council wanted to add in some stuff. You know, they wanted to add in kind of directional stuff. The stuff you were starting to do this morning. But it was clear that the belief was that every church and corps needs to have a ministry to children and youth. And if we have to bring in somebody from outside to get that going, then let's get on with the job. But every corps, that was the spirit behind this. The Salvation Army connects to its communities in relevant ways and with spirit-filled direction. Through this, it develops concrete plans for outreach to the community Salvation Army ministry units are committed to adapting our ministries to meet the specific needs of our diverse and multicultural communities without compromising our mission focus and values. It's a recognition, your recognition, the Council's recognition, that we need to be reaching out to the various communities, whether those are ethnic communities, youth culture communities, the various and diverse communities that are in our that surround our churches and surround our core. We need to be reaching out, and if the pews don't look like your community, then we have work to do. And that was the intent behind this proposition. And the fifth one, wherever appropriate, core and social service centers are linked, empowering members of the congregation with the opportunity for ministry. And some of you are saying there, well, what do you mean by whenever appropriate? We recognize that there may be types of social service, such as hospice, that requires maybe some specific training, shelters for battered women that are undisclosed locations that require specific training, where the link could not be necessarily open, and but the intent of the proposition, again, is back to missional identity, that the church and the ministry, the social ministry that we have, are linked, and that the two that Salvationists need to minister through those social services wherever possible.